Hey guys, it's Bree. I figured we could talk about this new comic series that I'm following. By new, I mean more new to me. It has 5 trades out already and is an ongoing series. It's called Revival and it's written by Tim Seeley and Mike Norton. Currently, there are 5 trades out. The first is You're Among Friends. The second, Live Like You Mean It. The third, A Faraway Place. The fourth, Escape to Wisconsin. And the most recent, Gathering of Waters. The story is really pretty interesting. It is a not quite a zombie story. What happens is there is a small town in Wisconsin. It's called Wausau. It's actually a real town. I drive through it, unfortunately, frequently. Not because Wausau is a bad place, but because it's a long drive. And in this small town, they all of a sudden have the dead come back to life. Obviously, this has a whole bunch of problematic repercussions for the town. First and foremost is, of course, the metaphysical, but there's also the physical problems that are associated with it. For instance, with the revivers, as they're called, they don't know if these revived people are coming back to life as kind of zombie monsters or as just the same person that they were, because they have both happening. They have people who attack and tear people's eyes out, and then at the other, on the other hand, they have people who just kind of go back to their deli job and go about their day, and you would never know they had ever been dead. It's obviously a fairly gory story. The story itself follows Dana Cypress. She is an officer in the sheriff's office, and is kind of by default the person that they go between when they are dealing with the CDC, who has come in and shut down the town. Because they can't, of course, rule out that it's some sort of weird viral infection that could spread all across the country and the world, which would be, of course, a problem. And so Dana Cypress is trying to figure out what's happening. She is investigating these kind of gruesome zombie-like instances and then these really mundane crimes that all involve revivers. But her life isn't easy, not just because she's dealing with this weird paranormal, supernatural event, but also because she's really ingrained in this small town. Her father is one of the heads of the state troopers. Her sister has gone to school in the town. She's kind of been a figure there for as long as she's known. And on top of that, she's dealing with things like being a single mom and kind of her son who is reacting to these zombies and what does this mean? It's really interesting, and there are a lot of really detailed subplots in it. The story, I would say, in feel, actually reminds me a lot of Lock and Key, which is over here somewhere. It's kind of dark and gruesome, but not overly... It doesn't feel like a traditional horror story. It's very suspenseful, but also, I don't know, I think approachable. I'm not somebody who likes horror stories. They really freak me out. But I think in tone, it's similar enough to Lock and Key that I think it's doable. It is fairly gory, and some adult content other than just blood and gore is involved. I think the thing I really like it, aside from the very detailed plots, is really the characters and the way they interact. For instance, Dana's son Cooper is about 7 or 8. Very imaginative, kind of a loner kid. One of those geeky, odd one out kind of children. And his reactions to the revival event are really pretty interesting. He starts having encounters with revivers and kind of these weird spirit things that are floating around the town. And for some reason they seem drawn to him. His response to this, I think, is really, really interesting. And the response of the various people in his life, his parents versus his grandfather versus his aunt versus this kind of like strange dude who kind of is showing up and is a character, they're all very different. And I think that there's a lot of truth to each kind of response, including Cooper's. I'm kind of in love with Cooper as a character. I think he's fantastic. And adding another layer of complexity, Dana starts realizing some pretty dark stuff about her family, including both her sister and her father. It's very, very dark, very twisted, and kind of really engaging, I think. I'm going to show you a little bit of the art really quickly. See if I can find some. Okay. I think the art is, the art also reminds me a little bit of Gabriel Rodriguez, who did Lock and Key, but I think it's very well done. The characters are very expressive, and the overall tone of the artwork matches the story really well. It keeps a really good sense of movement and direction. The story, it feels kind of laid out the way you would lay out a movie, and I like that. I like that in a graphic novel or in a comic. Again, there are 5 trades out right now, but it is an ongoing series, which excites me because that means that there's more to come, and I've really been enjoying it. If you have read Revival, let me know what you've thought of it. I do think it's one that, if you're not too turned off by gore, is really worth picking up. I hope you're having a fantastic reading week. I'll talk to you later. Bye.